Hey everybody, thanks for checking on this video. Today we're going to talk about Bigfoot. We've been talking a lot of deep intellectual concepts and growth topics, so I want to have just a fun video just to talk about. So we're going with Bigfoot today. I grew up listening to a lot of Sasquatch Chronicles and different YouTubers in the Bigfoot community just when, falling asleep, just because it's sometimes, it's good to fall asleep to something that is more like storytelling or like fake in reality, not in your everyday, doesn't affect you. Just for me, an easier way to fall asleep. And I find Bigfoot to be fun and interesting nonetheless. So I have about 30 things that I've listened to and I've captured in my brain behind the myth of Bigfoot. If real, then know this. And this is I guess the 101 Bigfoot things to know. If you've had any type of situation with Bigfoot, or you think I'm wrong or right on some stuff, feel free to comment. But yeah, could be a pretty wild comment section if people are willing to comment. Is Bigfoot real or not? I can't confirm or deny. That's not what this video is about. This video is about just repeating things I've heard. But the assumption is with all these that Bigfoot is real. Okay. So things we know about Bigfoot. Number one, they're all over the world and they're on all regions. And each culture essentially has a different name for Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti. There's many different names across all regions of the world for Bigfoot. Number two is they are plural. There's not one Bigfoot. They are plural, and they travel in what's called pods. Another rule of thumb is if you see one, there's always two. The only time you'll just see one if it's like an elderly Bigfoot, essentially passing time by as they fade away to their ultimate death. But for the most part, they travel in pods, and if you see one, you can almost assume that there's a second one somewhere else around you. What color are they? Brown, black, reddish, like reddish brown, and white is what has been reported. Height, 6 foot to 9 feet tall and up to 5 feet wide. And the 5 feet wide thing is just ridiculous. Like this poster is 36 by 24, so that's 2 feet going this way. Imagine a 5 foot wide creature standing in front of you that's anywhere from 6 to 9 feet tall. I mean, we're talking about like your brain breaking in terms of like not thinking that something can this possibly be this big. Wowzer. That's why it freaks people out if they do see one. It's like, holy cow. Various types. So there's different like looks and facial features and various temperaments. Some angry, some, not happy to see you, but they're okay seeing you. They speak in a language that sounds like gibberish. This is the Sahara Sounds, I believe, is the recording, but it's like, it sounds like that. Where it's like up, mainly lower voice, but also like high pitch, like in random spikes, but it's very much like a gibberish type speech. So they do have a language. They can mock any sound though in the forest. So they can essentially mock anything. So if you're hearing, an owl or something that like theoretically wouldn't be in your region or it doesn't make sense, or like a car door in the middle of the woods or something like that, then something is up, that's for sure. The forest is alive, meaning all animals understand humans are in the woods. I think that's just a misconcept. I think when humans go out there, they just assume like how they view the world is how other animals view the world, and that's not the case at all. If you go out in the woods, everything knows you're in the woods. So just general concept, but Bigfoot can do this on absolute steroids. So if you're in the woods, like these creatures know you're in the woods. And the only time like you would ever actually see one is if like you're for some reason just like, downwind, where meaning like the wind is blowing, away from you to them, or they just don't care and they're willing to let you see them. But like generally, like you're not gonna ever see a Bigfoot. It'd be so rare. They can run on all fours and on 2 feet. So I didn't know. I mean, obviously you've seen the Patterson Gimlin film where the Bigfoot's like walking on 2 feet, but running on all fours, that's reported a lot in these like sightings that people give on Sasquatch Chronicles. They run roughly 40 to 50 miles per hour. That's just kind of me guessing, to be honest with you. But people say like they move faster than you could ever imagine, which kind of makes sense being like that big and that full of muscle. But I've heard that so many times of people being like, I cannot believe it could move that fast. And seeing one sprint across the field, I think would be like one of the coolest experiences ever. Whether they can run 60 miles per hour, 40, I don't know, but just lightning fast, and it almost breaks your brain when you see how quick they can actually move. They walk with a certain knee bend. This is how you can tell like the difference between like obviously a guy in a suit or not a guy in the suit, or one that's like, is this one fake? I can't really tell. It's because they have a certain walk that is different than humans do. They have a break in the middle of their foot. Essentially, they have or their foot can like bend, like there's I forget what it's called, but like a partial break or something in the middle of their foot, where humans don't. But that allows them to climb and do all the Bigfoot activities. They sit on their butts, but they sleep facing down. This is just a thing I heard. I can't even confirm or deny this, but sitting on their butts obviously makes sense, like when they're chilling out. But allegedly, when it's cold, they sleep like facing down, like to the ground, with their stomachs on the ground, their back up. No idea why I know that. I think I just heard it and thought that was interesting. They bury their dead. That's probably a rumor, but that is the word on the street. They don't eat the volume of food we think. They pull energy from the sun like photosynthesis. That like makes sense to me. That this creature, for some reason or somehow, has something where this ton creature can live in an area where there's not as much food resources, because they are super good at doing something like, honestly, like mythological in terms of being able to pull resources from like the sun or the air or something interesting like that. Okay, some people think they're multi-dimensional. Some people think they're like shapeshifters, meaning they can like be a dog and then turn back to Bigfoot. And then some people think they're just like physical beings, like animals, like normal animals. Yeah. All right. And they're kind of getting into more of like the mythology or the mythical, multi-dimensional viewpoint here. They utilize the ether to tap into like superpowers, like the energy that's ether, Holy Spirit, like whatever people call it. It's the energy that's within the air itself. Yeah, they allegedly tap into that. Their homes are built with like tree-like structures, and it looks like if the wind knocked down a bunch of trees, that's what it looks like. And you can check that out. Colorado Bigfoot on YouTube has filmed endless videos of really random structures in the woods, and people think it's Bigfoot related. These structures tap into the ether and create some type of energy field as their home. So I don't know. Maybe we can learn from them. That sounds like a unique situation. They can go invisible when touching their own network, like their energy network that they create for their home. They can go invisible. This kind of gets into that whole shape-shifting perspective. But people are saying that they can go invisible. I think kind of cool. They do spy, and they are super curious. So that's why they will go around people's like campsites and whatnot. Usually night animals, but not always. But mainly are around at night. I bet that just depends on regions. I bet around here, as long as they're real, like I bet around human areas they go around at night. I bet they're during the day for non-human areas. They can yell at a volume that seems to be impossible, and they allegedly have an 8-range octave, which I don't even know what that exactly means, but I assume it's like the ability to do all the pitches. I wonder like what a human's like how many ranges a human can have, like 4 maybe. But yeah, 8-range octave, and their volume and their scream is at a level that like shakes your body. It is so loud, and it's one of those things like I can't even believe something can be that loud. I've never heard anything that loud. That's what people report. Uh, can pull a tree straight out of the ground. I've heard that a few times, and that essentially just showcases their strength. I mean, even to pull a small tree out of the ground would be absolutely nuts, let alone like a tree that's like been there for a while. And people, what they've reported is they've seen trees like on their head, meaning like the branches, it's like the opposite, and then like the roots are sticking like up, and it's like digging in the ground. So that's the report. Will throw rocks. I've seen videos of this, real or fake, but yeah, a lot of people report that Bigfoot, they throw rocks at you. Oh yeah, this is called nud or wood. There's a thing called wood knocking. That's when essentially it sounds like a baseball bat's hitting a tree. I have a theory on this that I've never heard anyone else say. Is what if it's just like their giant ass hands hitting the tree or something? Like, could that be or clapping? I don't know. Or it could be their voice. But like, are they really finding a branch and hitting a tree? Just seems so unlikely. But yeah, people report wood knocking. You also see this a lot on like the Bigfoot shows that are on TV. Is they'll like grab a baseball bat and like try to mimic it because they're like trying to pull the Bigfoot closer to them. But what they don't know is like Bigfoot, obviously, if it's real, like it knows you're in the woods. Like it knows you're in the woods. It would be like someone being in your house and you not knowing like someone's in your house. You're gonna know someone's in your house. It's like your home. Okay. Go chill. Hey, chill. All right. Hands so big they drink water out of their hands like it's a cup. Like someone once I heard this thing, someone saw like them drink out of a river and they just grabbed water and held it like a cup and drank out of it. Because as humans, you could kind of do that, but like not at like the volume like a cup is, you know? So like that's how big their hands are. I covered this already, but like the elderly do live in the pods, and then when they're about to die, they say goodbye to like the pod, their family, and then they essentially just go off and die. Some are aggressive and some are peaceful. I've heard accounts of Bigfoots saving people through danger, like grabbing them and running with them and putting them into a safer area. I've heard of a Bigfoot one time, like someone was like got cut up on a bunch of rocks or something, and they used like their medicine as the person passed out, and like the person woke up and like their cuts were no longer bleeding, they were like already healing. I've also heard of Bigfoot like essentially killing people and stealing people in the woods. So yeah, wide range of stories in terms of are Bigfoots safe to be around. I think ultimately the answer is don't go in the woods and don't think like that's your domain because it's not your domain. And I think it's kind of good, whether just from a safety perspective, whether they're real or not real, like whether this list is just like folklore, Americana, or like the truth, I don't know. But I think it's important to maybe even have the idea that they could exist. So if you do for some reason come face to face with one, you kind of know like what you're dealing with at least, and you're not. I mean, you're probably gonna like pee your pants, but like at least you kind of are like, oh, okay, I at least know what's going on here. Versus if you see like a monster, you may be like have trauma the rest of your life. Versus if you get out of there, you can be like, well, I saw what everyone else is seeing. And that's probably a better situation than being shocked to essentially close to shocked to. Honestly, you can probably be shocked to death. That's how big a 5 foot wide, 9 foot tall Bigfoot is. I mean, that is freaky. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the video. This is just a fun one. I like making fun content here and there about, product reviews I like, stories I like, just fun stuff like that. All right, guys. Thanks, and please consider subscribing. I have links below. I do a lot of motivational speaking and things of that nature, so check out the links below. Thanks for watching. Please comment on this one. Someone tell me a crazy story. Someone tell me if any of these, they've actually happened to you and if they're at all right, or if you have something to add, throw it in there. Let's have a good comment section in this video. All right, guys, thanks.